Before we begin, let's get the rotary knob ready. It's recommended to have a Phillips screwdriver and a flathead screwdriver on hand, as well as the Allen wrench provided in the package. First, let's remove these two components from the rotary knob. Then place the removed parts aside. Use a flathead screwdriver to remove the rotary knob cover. Next, use a Phillips screwdriver to remove the screw at the top of the rotary knob. Next, we need to use the Allen wrench to work on the metal rotary knob. In this step, we'll loosen the 4 screw holes around the metal knob. During this process, it's not necessary to completely loosen the screws of the metal knob. We just need to make sure the metal knob can be removed from the shaft. Now we need to remove this white plastic piece located at the front end of the shaft. We'll push the sensor wire forward. Detach the wire end from the sensor board. Then, carefully remove the sensor wire from the shaft. Next, we will take out the replacement sensor wire provided in the kit. Please insert the new sensor wire through the through hole at the tail end of the shaft. This step might present a bit of a challenge, so try to gently rotate the wire during insertion to help it pass smoothly through the shaft. As we can see, since the through hole is very small, we'll need to continuously try rotating the sensor wire to gradually advance it forward. When the wire is nearing the front end of the shaft, you can use a screwdriver to hook it out. After threading the wire through the shaft's through hole, we need to reattach the end of the sensor wire back onto the sensor board. During this process, please ensure that the plug matches the socket on the sensor board correctly to avoid reversing the wire sequence. Next, let's place the sensor board back onto the shaft. We will reinstall the white plastic piece we removed at the beginning onto the upper part of the sensor board. This plastic part will secure the sensor board in place. Next, I'll explain how to reinstall the metal knob back onto the shaft. Before we start the installation, I want to point out a special detail. Among the 4 screws around the metal knob, 2 have flat ends and the other 2 have pointed ends. We can visually inspect the interior of the knob to identify the positions for the flat screws. On the shaft, there's a specially designed flat slot. The purpose of this flat surface on the shaft is to help us precisely position the metal knob during installation. Therefore, we must ensure that the flat screws on the metal knob are aligned 100% with the flat surface on the front section of the shaft. After aligning, insert the metal knob onto the shaft. First, tighten the flat screws, and then secure the remaining 3 screws individually. After installation, we need to check if the metal knob is aligned and covers the raised surface on the shaft. With that, the installation of the metal knob is complete. Finally, let's reinstall the plastic rotary knob. During installation, it's important to align the pogo pin and the slot on the plastic rotary knob correctly. Also, ensure that the rotary knob is in a clicked position before reattaching the washer and screws. We can now cover it back up, and then reinstall the dust cover and the white cone onto the shaft. That concludes our tutorial on how to replace the sensor wire.